Hello and welcome to another exciting, long overdue in my opinion, episode of Token Games Podcast. I'm your host and sometimes referee, Zach Stat Pearson. And today, I'm joined by people in person and also reciting words for people. Our quote-unquote recital will be conducted by me, but the words come from a one Balsamic, or as you may remember him, Balsamic TV. His YouTube channel will be linked in the description. Unfortunately, due to last-minute work constraints, he will not be available, but I will be reciting what he says, and man, is it savage. But of course, it wouldn't be a podcast if we weren't joined by that whose laugh is equated to elderly white women, a one James of House Tono.
Van Dyke done fucked it up.
Okay. And we'll be joined later because he had to go pick up some medical documentation. Officer from House 9000 +1. And Neko Mimi is 50-50. So, yeah. I'm not even going to do an intro for her because she's like 50-50. Anyways. All right, so the topics for this episode are as follows. Number one, E3 2021 is in it. Is there even a point to claiming a winner at all? This is a term always used in figuring out the best company who presents it, but isn't that determined by the individual, aka the people watching, as individuals? Number two, weirdest game thing you saw at E3 this year? Number three, what game are you looking forward to now? Number four, what's something you think needs to be fixed at E3? Number five, worst game, and if none cited, what game do you want to see at E3? I think that's going to be everybody's favorite question. All right, I'm going to go to push to talk. You go to voice activity. And yeah, let's get this started.
Okay. Well, be start first. I guess that's a yes. Okay. E3 2021. Oh man. The sadness that just came through my came shot through my heart and my head. Well, it's supposed to be claiming by the viewers, basically for all of us, not determined by the company themselves. My huge entire disappointment was the most anticipated game of all. My first thought was, of course, Elden Ring. Elden Ring just took the cake for me. That's the most anticipated because we haven't got a new Dark Souls game after the release of the remaster. Yeah, of course, it's good and all, but I just wanted a little continuation after 3, you know. But Elden Ring, in most cases, yeah, it has everything I wanted and to hope for in case there's no more Dark Souls. It just actually get to view it, get other games that has the same atmosphere like a chance, just like Bloodborne. But Forza, I mean, goddamn. I'd rather play Gran Turismo than Forza. And for the worst part, the choice was made by, not the choice, but it's been advertised so hard by Microsoft. Really pushing it just to make everybody to say, okay, yeah, this is the best one out of Elden. So no, if you will just pay attention through the chat was all hyped for Elden Ring. But it is what it is for companies now. They only listen to those who really up the top, mainly game journalists per se, mainly those who really provided, such as, like I said, Microsoft, Xbox, or whoever. They only pick to those who really pushing, not for like the average Joes like myself and other people who are really fascinated about what we see. There's supposedly no win or lose in any competition for a promotion. My thing is, we all every game will be treated as such by first impression. I mean, this be for the case. Oh, speak. My bad. Throat. So I say, win or lose. There's to me, in my personal opinion, there is no win or lose. I treat games equally and say, well, yeah, sure, I give some games a chance. You know, whether it's like a person that just started up. There have been mainly majority of people who make games themselves, and it'd be very good. But I'll just leave it at that. So topic 2, weirdest game I saw. I forgot what game it was, but the game was supposed to be an inspiration of Max Payne.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, I saw that game too, but the coloring and shit was like really fucking ugly. But
it's really ugly.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. Because when I first saw the trailer, within 30 seconds, I was like, this feels like some Max Payne shit.
That was my first thing too. This Max Payne. Just in PlayStation 1 graphics. And that's my thing. Why we're going back to D-master is what they call it, as they say. D-master games. Make them pixelated. But yeah, that's one of the weirdest things I've seen. And I'm like, what's the point of me even playing this? Man, if you see a demastered of Bloodborne, I will go back to Bloodborne again. Damn, I'd rather play that than what I just saw. But that was the weirdest thing. I said, oh no. I said, oh no. Oh no. Oh, okay. But no, that's gonna be a no for me, dog. Topic 3. There's 2 games. It's the saddest part. There's only 2 games that I'm looking for. Is Stranger's Paradise Final Fantasy. The other one is, like I said, Elden Ring. Those are the only 2 games I'm expecting that I'm looking forward to right now. Those are only 2 games. Other than that, that was it. Namco, Namco, wherever they are, I'm sorry, but the reason why I'm talking about this now is just they just let me down. Oh, hey. But that's it for topic 3. Strange Paradise and Elden Ring. Topic 4 with the what they need to fix. What they're not talking about this whole entire diversity and equality stuff. That just came out of nowhere. Like totally out of
Just
nowhere.
rephrasing that before the entirety of the internet thinks you a racist motherfucker. But you do you.
No, because they're like talking about politics and it's just supposed to be for games. No one needs to hear that. If something like this needs to be addressed, it needs to be addressed to, the Capitol, something like that. But no, not through games. That's gonna be throwing everybody off the rocker. Topic 5. Worst games. I mean, the whole there's been cooking games. I'm like, why there's a lot of cooking games? I'd rather play whatever it was, Cookie Mama or whatever it was that game is. Yeah, dog it. I'd rather play that. There's like so many. Yep, pretty much E3 is just took over by just indie games. Nothing but indie games. And I'm gonna just stick to that worst game because that's a no-no. That's just no-no. And here I am just gonna say my piece of this. E3 is just I just feel ashamed. And that's all she wrote.
So yeah. Did you do top 5?
I did.
All right. So, as much as I would love the savagery of our 2 late coming challengers, Officer.
Hey, sorry about that.
Because I know you're gonna say some savage shit and it's gonna be funny. Officer, I'm gonna let you go next. Then I'm gonna go after you, and then I'll let the final latecomer just be savage, so I have time to sit down and laugh and pop popcorn. Not joking, by the way. I'm actually gonna do that.
All right, then on me. Wow.
You know what, Neko, just go ahead and be savage right now.
You cut out. What was that? Ah, shit. Well, unfortunately, I've been very distracted and have not been keeping up with video game stuff. So, this is all about E3, right? I'll be honest, I just cared about the Nintendo shit, and that was disappointing, as we all know. Okay, topic 1. Is there even a point to claiming a winner? Wait, they do that? They claim winners at E3? What's the point of that?
I mean, people who watch it claim winners. Yeah.
Oh, okay, it's not an official thing. Okay. Is there even a point to claiming a winner at all? That is a term always used in figuring out the best company who presented, but isn't determined by the individual. For that topic, yeah. What's the point of that? That's stupid. Like, who needs to win E3? It's completely subjective. Like I just said, I only cared about like what Nintendo was doing because that's what I've been playing mostly is things on my Switch. So like, even if the other producers had quality new games, I might look at it and go, oh, that's interesting, but I don't care, so I'm definitely not going to vote any of them the winner. You have diehard simps for long-running companies like Nintendo and shit like that, so, they'll jack off to anything they produce, so they'll think they're the winner. There's just no way to say who, quote-unquote, won E3. That is so funny. I didn't know people did that. That's dumb. So I guess a short, quick, and dirty response to that, don't. Unfortunately, I'm not super up to date on what they presented, so I'll more likely comment on whatever you guys say. Weirdest games, that's the thing you saw at E3. Well, I heard there's a lot of cooking games. I think that's pretty weird. When did that trend come back? I remember Cookie Mama being like really popular back when I was in high school, like with a lot of kids and shit like that, and I still love it to this day. And what was that game? Overcooked apparently had some hype, but
Overcooked was awesome.
yeah, I didn't play enough of it. It was fun, but damn, it required a lot of like team organization, cooperation, because I play with friends. So yeah, that's a little bit strange. I don't really see how we can get a bunch of different versions of a cooking game. It's kind of like, oh, what's a good example? I usually have an example for this. It's kind of like tacos. You know, when it comes to tacos, burritos, things like that, the actual like stuffing is always the same, but it's just a different like way to wrap it or a different way to eat it. It doesn't actually get very interesting. So like we could have our cooking mama. Yeah, you're like in a household doing cooking. We have the Overcooked where everything's like chaotic and it's now group play. Maybe you have a fighting cooking game where I don't know, you have to like fight the ingredients. Like those are a few different ways, but I feel like it's going to get boring really fast because in the end you're just kind of getting some ingredients and cooking it. But I don't know, that's just my personal opinion. Maybe I'm just like really biased against cooking games. I don't know. What games am I looking forward to now? Again, I'm just really focusing on Nintendo. Breath of the Wild 2, of course, is something on my list. I've never really played Zelda games before Breath of the Wild, so I had a lot of fun with that one. Trying to think what else I heard from Nintendo's part of the E3. Really, there was nothing I was interested in. I heard some shit with the new Metroid game, and that actually sounds dope for Metroid fans. I'm not one of them. The Tekken player in Smash, like, cool. I'm not really much of a Smash player anymore, so it doesn't really excite me that much. Also, they didn't choose my favorite, so I don't care. Yeah, I just didn't really care for anything. I was mainly looking forward to like Animal Crossing, Breath of the Wild, some updates on the Pokemon games, but it sounds like they really didn't hit on anything I'm interested in. So go fuck yourself too, Nintendo. I don't care. Something needs to be fixed at E3. Kind of the showmanship. I haven't really been following E3 for super long, just kind of off and on whenever my friends tell me about it. But like a lot of things, they tend to focus even more on the showmanship and wowing the crowd and things like that. And of course, there always needs to be an element of wowing the crowd. We want the gamers to be impressed and to be excited for your game. But I feel like they lose the actual value of what the game is about, or just like showing what makes the game good by being all like secretive and like kind of showing you bits and pieces, but not really explaining anything. Nintendo.
Yeah, you kind of, sorry to get you off, but you kind of reminded me, I think it was it last year's E3 where, or was it the year before that, where Keanu Reeves said, "No, you're breathtaking," at the presentation for Cyberpunk 2077. That's showmanship.
Yeah, and just like that kind of thing happens a lot as things get bigger and bigger, and there's more expectations from the fans. And that's just another thing. This is a slight tangent. Fucking fans need to calm the fuck down. Like, we want quality games, of course, but sometimes we focus too much on the things that aren't making the game quality. It's more like the fluff, the sparkle and glitter about the game. And we expect that and demand that from producers, so they stop focusing on the core elements of the game and start focusing on the stupid ass fluff. And then we get mad because it's not as good as we want it to be. That's just something I think that from the consumer end, consumers need to calm down with. But
culture.
What?
That's hype culture for you.
Hype culture, yes. Oh my god. And it's frustrating, disgusting, and also amazing to see how even like, I don't know what you would call them. I'm going to call them quote unquote normie companies jump on hype culture, meme culture, pop culture, things like that. And they're doing it just to create waves. Not because they are producing quality content, not because they are doing something new. They're just trying to get, basically it's like clickbait. You know, you post a picture of your butt on Instagram so you get lots of clicks on it. People aren't clicking because they think you're a good content creator. They're clicking because they like your butt. That's it. It's super easy to do that shit. But there's like nothing there. So I guess E3, it'd be nice if it kind of went back to the days when gaming culture and nerd culture wasn't this, popular thing anymore, because now it's cool to be a nerd. And we just got back down to quality games and what the companies are doing that's new and innovative, and it's just we're all enjoying this thing that we all enjoyed together. We're not judging it as harshly. We're not expecting and demanding ridiculous things from the companies, which granted, Nintendo, it's not ridiculous. People are demanding. But I don't know, just a simpler time, a better time. But that's just me being old.
Hey, so 2 quick questions for you, if you don't mind answering.
I do mind.
I bet you do, because you already know you done fucked up. However, you did it twice, and it's gonna be funny for me.
Oh dear.
You own a Nintendo Switch, right?
Yes.
And you play a lot of Pokemon games?
Yes.
So you're the Nintendo simp that jacks off to anything Nintendo does?
Yeah. No, like, I admit, I'm one of them. I guess I'm like 60% one, because there are definitely some Nintendo games that I don't care about. Like, I never bought, well, Black and White 2 was just me being lazy. I heard the story for that was great. But I forget which generation. I've skipped a couple generations recently just because I thought they were kind of dumb, or I don't like what Nintendo's been doing with Pokemon's character design, or Pokemon design, I should say. I think it's just really stupid, like how they keep on grasping at straws and keep on it's like the anime thing that happens all the time. Like, here's this villain, he's super strong. Okay, they defeat him. Here's this master powerful villain. He destroys planets and stuff. He's so strong. Okay, they defeat him too. And we're on season 3 right now. Here's a next villain. He destroys universes. Okay, season 4, he's defeated. And then there's God. And they defeat God. They just keep on getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's like, if you would just kind of slow down and plan out your series, we'll call it, you don't have to hit the ground running and then try to figure out how you're going to get past 100. If you start at maybe 70, you can work your way up to that. And I feel like Nintendo's been doing a lot of that with Pokemon, bringing in the aliens and that kind of shit. I think it's dumb. But they have...
So, what was that complaint you said about, you're not a good content creator if you just post bland, boring, hot topic shit like, an ass pic?
Yeah, they've been doing that, so I've been kind of ignoring a lot of their shit recently.
Oh, I can't say I blame you. I mean, if my ass was that flat, I'd be jealous of other people too. Good night, everybody!
But I do see, this is the problem with Nintendo specifically. They are very good at the carrot and the stick. So they'll release a lot of shit. I think we've actually talked about this before. They'll release a lot of shit titles for their main series, Mario, Pokemon, etc. But then they'll do 1 or 2 really good things, or things that give us hope, and we're like, oh, Nintendo truly cares. And no, they don't. They're just really good at keeping us simping for them. So
like what they did with Metroid Dread.
Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, I heard about that.
Bruh, I like how you said it right as I typed it. So, okay, I know you two, or maybe just you, Neko, you didn't see it, but it wasn't the fact that they made a new Metroid and it's not first-person shooter, so that dramatically increases your odds of playing it. Here's what the thing about it, though. They literally even said in their own trailer how long it's been since they made a new Metroid game in that way. And I'm just sitting up here looking at this shit like, bruh, why the fuck do y'all sound proud of that? Oh yeah, we're finally making this new version of Metroid after 15 fucking years.
By the way, this Metroid Dread, it's not actually new. It was in development back in 2008 or something as a sequel to Metroid Fusion that was going to be released on the DS. But,
That's nice, but that's not my point. My point is that they disrespect their shit that people like, and there doesn't seem to be anything consistent with it. If they make a shit game or a boring game with Legend of Zelda, there's still 5 or 6 more coming down the pipeline. They make a shit game or a boring game with Metroid, see you in 20 years. If you were 1 when the first Metroid came out, and you played all the games up to Dread, that's only 7 fucking games. You should be almost 40. That's how insane that is. And it's for a franchise that people like. But Pokemon, oh no, you ain't getting away from Pokemon. Pokemon like herpes. It's gonna fuck you. It's just a matter of when.
It's true.
But continue.
But yeah, unfortunately, that's the power or power and problem of these like really big gaming companies. They get to that point where they don't have to care. They can openly say how much like they've been fucking over their fans, and they don't get any repercussions for it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, and I'm sorry, I'm not trying to excuse it. I'm not saying that I'm not part of the problem, because I do. Usually, I become a little more disconcerting. Is that the right word? These days, because of obviously like money and stuff like that. But usually, it's like if it's a game from a series I absolutely adore, like Sly Cooper, for instance. If Sly Cooper ever releases another game, I don't care if it's the absolute shittiest thing ever. I'm gonna buy it because I simply like Sly Cooper. Fucking love Sly Cooper. What the fuck was I saying? God damn it, Cena, you distracted me. Whatever. Nintendo. But they do that thing where they release something, or at least show you something that looks like it might actually be good. Like, I'm really excited for the new, I think they just call it Arceus for the next Pokemon game. That seems new, innovative, and is exploring the world in different ways. Instead of just adding on new Pokemon and saying aliens, we're going back in time to kind of learn more about the lore and history.
Yeah,
and stuff like
that open world, like, sort of looks like a survival game thing. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
So anyway, I've ranted about Nintendo too much. Fuck Nintendo, love them. I'm not super into like Mario. Like, I like playing Mario games, but damn, those ones, like, they really have to be something to catch my eye. But yeah, so unfortunately I'm not super caught up on E3, so I can't critique everything. I'd love to hear what you guys have seen, stuff like that, and help critique on that. Something I want to see at E3, fucking Sly Cooper. I know it's never going to happen, but goddamn, I want the next installment of that series.
Now, this won't make you feel good. In fact, it'll be like how I feel with Final Fantasy VII Remake Deluxe Edition. They cock-teased all you motherfuckers, and it was like the biggest dick move ever.
Yeah.
What is it? Ratchet has a gun that literally breaks through time and space and hits you with an explosion. But things come out of the explosion. You know what comes out of the explosion? Sly Cooper.
What the fuck? Really?
And you know who else comes out of the explosion? Jak and Daxter.
That feels more like an homage to the next, what do they call their Sony fighter game? I don't remember.
PlayStation All-Stars, of which we do not
Yeah,
speak.
it sounds more like that than the next, like, generation of those individual titles.
Yeah, I know, and here's the
Smackdown
dumb part, too.
that.
They even gave them new character, they even gave them a new render and new designs, and the characters don't speak. It is the worst possible type of cock tease. It's like, instead of just stopping halfway through, she just hovers over it with her mouth open and looks at you and then laughs and is not gonna do shit. It's like that. Damn, I hope that never happens to me. Fuck. That's depressing.
Nice catch, hope he never has that happen to him, as if it hasn't already.
Nice try. But that is a fear of mine now. Fuck. I think I gave myself a future nightmare. So yeah, they did that shit to you, and Ratchet & Clank is PS5 only. Just like Final Fantasy VII Intergrade Ultra Hyper Turbo Edition is PS5 only, when it literally does not have to be. Nothing in there, content-wise, story-wise, they can't put in the PlayStation 4 version. Not to mention, they still won't say when the fuck a PC version's coming out. Not that I really care about that, because I know it's going to be filled to the brim with fucking bugs day one, so I'm not going to touch that shit like it's got herpes.
Dax, you say there's no reason they can't put it into the PS4. Of course there's a reason. Money.
You know what? I ain't going to even debate that. You are fucking right. That's the only thing, because if they had an exclusivity deal that they did not need to have, but on top of that, if you really stop and think about it, you know what's going to happen next. They're going to try to revive that deal. That's why they don't instantly tell us when this game is coming out on PC or any other platforms, because somebody's like, no, wait, put part 2 and part 3 on our system first. Well, what about the old system? Fuck those old systems. Oh, well, we still got fans who are going to want this game. Well, suck your dick. Oh, okay. Well, I mean, if you're giving us money and a BJ, well, we might as well backstab everybody for no fucking reason. And on top of it, not even tell them that it's not going to come out in completely on this shit. Bro, I am so annoyed. There's no reason for them to not do this. And even if they do this at a later date, it's still annoying. You know why? Because they won't just give us a fucking release date. Everybody else tells us it's a timed exclusive and that we'll make another version later. No, they just told us it's a timed exclusive. They didn't tell us it's coming out on PC or Microsoft or even when. They just said timed exclusive. Oh, well, when's it going to come on these other systems? That's not something we're ever going to talk about. So it's like they're even paid to be misleading after the exclusivity deal is over. There is no fucking point to that, man. No fucking point. And yes, I'm still going to buy part 2 and part 3. But at this point, the only way I'm getting a PS5 is literally if I rob somebody at gunpoint. This shit is crazy. And there's going to be a shortage that lasts all the way up until next year. So, hooray. All right, who's going next? Or did you do topic 5?
I kind of did topic 5, but I did it in a lazy way, asking for something that's never going to happen. So.
Okay, well, I guess I'll fucking go next.
You're sending me last?
Yes, congratulations. Okay. It finally happened. And I think it's been like 3 years since it happened. All right, let me go to voice activity. Because I also have to do a recital, technically. James and Neko, y'all go try to get situated in server 1 while I'm doing this. Okay, voice activity. Can y'all hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right. Hey, look, my answer is already predetermined for topic 1. I even say it in the goddamn fucking question. I think it's total fucking bullshit and it's a waste of time. Because the only thing you're going to do is the one thing they say they don't want. Trolls and fighting in the comment section. But if review company or quote unquote supposed game journalist or hired mouthpiece company A says something hypothetical like, this is the best shit. This is the best shit to happen. And other company says something different, or their own subscribers disagree with them and someone agrees with them in the comments, they're going to pick a proxy fight, and the proxy fight is going to turn into a proxy war, then it's going to turn into a flame war in the fucking comment section. Just say what you thought was the coolest shit and leave it at that. Why is that so hard? I know damn well I don't play the same games and the same shit as you two do. Right? So, why in the fuck do they still do this? You don't need to draft up content after E3 is over. You have so much footage, you can go through it and legitimately make videos for like at least 3-4 days off that shit, if not a full week. But no, they have to do that. It's weird. They don't even question it. I think there's no point in having it. If games get awards at E3, okay. They do give out awards at E3 for best in show and shit. That's determined by the E3 people and also in-person fan choice. Obviously, that ain't happening this year, but you get my point. So fuck that thing. I don't respect the concept of it. I don't hate people that get into it, but I don't respect the concept of it. Topic 2. I mean, can we just establish the fact that it was weird that there were so many independent cooking games? Like, I know we did it, I know we said it, but that was the weird part for me.
It's just a year of cooking.
Why are there all these indie cooking games? And like, there was like 3 or 4 of them back to back at one point.
Maybe it's because during quarantine, they're like, okay, we need inspiration for a game. What the fuck are we doing right now? I don't know. Cooking?
Making bread dough?
Yeah.
Making bread dough?
Yeah.
Let's make a cooking game. Like, it is weird that in a pandemic, fucking cooking bread got popular. That was just odd, but that's something we can brag on all damn day and night. Anyways. Because I want to get this done so I can get Neko situated and James too. I'm just like, fucking, the Max Payne game was weird. But I think the weirdest one, because people don't realize it, but another word for weird is actually uncanny and vice versa. So we have uncanny X-Men. We technically have weird X-Men. Final Fantasy Origins Tales of the Stranger. I don't even know which one title is the correct title at this point.
Yo.
One title. Tales of the Stranger, Final Fantasy. Oh no, it's Final Fantasy Origins, Tales of the Stranger. Like, how the fuck did you not pick before you showed it off? But anyways, that game, now I'm the first to say that I like that Final Fantasy VII is getting a remake. But I have mentioned that I feel like, just based on how much time is going by, Final Fantasy 1 should also get a remake on principle of it being the one that first sailed the ship. Because if you stop and think about it, even though they do crossover stuff and those little mobile games where everything comes over, those characters get the least amount of time to do anything and everything. The Warrior of Light shows up all the fucking time in cross-promotional Final Fantasy franchise media. They got versions of him for days. There's the Cydia versions of him, computer-generated versions of him, all this shit. But people don't realize, when people say, oh, he's from Final Fantasy, they go, which one? I was like, no, Final Fantasy. Yeah, but which one? The first one. Oh. I can't tell you how many times something like that's happened to me. But the fact that they're making this basically an action-adventure game, or an action RPG, I don't mind it. What does bother me is that it looks like there's an identity crisis going on with this game. And that's why it's weird to me. Because if it's a remake of Final Fantasy 1, then that just means that the area we were in and that giant castle is not the entirety of the game. But if this is the Final Fantasy equivalent of a Dark Souls game, or the hardcore, slow-moving a hack and slash genre, which everyone else calls a Souls-like, which highly inaccurate, but as we've discussed numerous times, if there's one thing the video game industry is incapable of doing, it's having consensus and predetermined and defined genre definitions. So I understand it. But really, this is just a slow-ass hack and slash game. Then I get why there's only castle elements. We don't know enough about this game. And the way they even describe this game, it feels like they don't even know what the fuck they really want to do with it and how far they should take shit. Which is why they have a demo complete with feedback after the demo.
I wonder if it'll be Versus 13 round 2.
Hey, it's chaos, but it ain't that chaotic.
I'm all for games like doing that like player feedback thing where they kind of release like obviously an unfinished game, get the player feedback, and then release a finished one. But I feel like companies are pushing it too far where they release like things that are a little too unfinished. I actually looked up the description I saw of this game. This was two concepts from two games that were supposed to be completely separate that Nomura came up with, or someone and Nomura came up with 10 years ago, and they put them together.
Oh God, Nomura, that explains everything.
I hate to say it, but it kind of does. It really kind of does. So I don't even think they even really have a fucking story for this game. I think this is literally, the demo is literally everything they've come up with. That's why this shit's weird to me. Because if you wanted to make this a Final Fantasy 1 specific remake that just happens to play like a Dark Souls, okay. But I don't even feel like that's what this is. I'm confused by it, which is why it's weird to me. Topic 3. Well, everyone's already looking forward to Breath of the Wild, so I'm not gonna act like I'm any different. Other than that, I'm looking forward to getting some of these indie titles, but here's one that surprised me. Did any of y'all see Solstice?
Yep.
Okay, so Solstice is a game which is spelled in a punny way, but is a game that it looks like it's trying to find that middle ground between Nier Automata's combat and Devil May Cry. And the character got a big ass Final Fantasy Cloud Strife type sword as her primary weapon. So I'm already down, theoretically speaking. But what I don't know is it an RPG or is it just a hack and slash? Because remember, as we all know, one of the smallish but also entertaining, which is ironic, genres in all of video gaming is the hack and slash, or the quote-unquote action-adventure game. So I'm looking forward to this game because, as y'all know, this being one of my favorite genres, we barely get titles that get this much notoriety or attention. Just look how much time went from Devil May Cry 4 to Devil May Cry 5. That was 8 years. No, I'm sorry, hold on. That was 8 years from Devil May Cry 4 and Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. Devil May Cry 4 proper to Devil May Cry 5 was about 12. Ninja Gaiden ain't done shit since 2013. And it was widely considered fucked up. So they remade it. And the remake was better, of course. That's how remakes are. But that remake was only like a year time difference between the regular version, which sucked, and the publication of the remake. Bayonetta, we're only on game number 2. We've been waiting on game number 3 for 5 years. They purposely drugged their ass because they decided to make a game engine out of Bayonetta. Now, for those who aren't aware, a game engine is basically the rules of physics and programming of which a game works on, or a game system is based in and on. It's the equivalent of a video game operating system, quite literally. The more complex your engine, the more it costs, and the more time it takes. Because when there's a bug, you have to write the fix in. There's no plug and play elements. But they didn't even tell us that until like 2 years after the development started. So, if we're lucky, Bayonetta 3 comes out next year. Oh yeah, but there was also a pandemic that put some shit on hiatus. If we're lucky, Bayonetta 3 comes out in 2023. Fuck the bullshit. So, and that's it. That's basically it. Everything else is a one-time only situation. Or it's an RPG that just happens to have these elements, like Nier Automata, made by the same people who made Bayonetta. But there's no guarantee going from game to game they're going to play similar. In fact, the newest Nier Automata game, or Nier game, is a mobile title and it's turn-based. So again, don't play nothing like Nier Automata. Let's see, what else? I mean, I want to see the final reveal of the final Smash Bros. Character. The final DLC character, just because I want it to not be Sora and I want to go to bed easy at night. Never Sora. Never fucking Sora. Despair at not having Sora. I have Sephiroth, so fuck y'all. But we only found out one new character. And of course, I'm looking forward to Metroid Dread because this is a Metroid game I'm going to want to play. Not that I hate the FPS Metroids. I'm just naturally not as interested as I am with every other format of video gaming in general. So when I see this Metroid coming out, I'm glad. And I can buy those amiibos and resell them and possibly be able to afford a PS5 finally. Now, as far as something I think they need to fix, well, let me just start off by saying I am not racist. Not to mention,
great start.
Fuck you. Not to mention, this is about one of my people. At least I can remember my people. And it's not that it happened at E3, which was a discussion on minority-related issues in the gaming industry, or just a discussion on understanding the difference between proper representation versus half-assed representation. I'm all for that. Because sometimes the only way people learn shit is when you stuff it in their goddamn face and they can't get away from it. And that's how things work sometimes. And that's the sad part about humanity. Doing the right thing is sometimes only happen when someone's forced to do the right thing. Or learn what the right thing is. My problem is that no one fucking saw it coming. We weren't warned and we were blindsided. If they just done this in a way that we knew it was coming, far in advance, like a month, not the week of or the day of in the scheduling that's in the description box. If they had just made an entire fucking broadcast stream that happens before the games or after the games, and then it leads into the indie developers and them talking about issues that they have, I would have been all for it. But to be fair, at the same time, E3 has a terrible, notoriously bad relationship with respecting independence. Not because they think they're not worth shit, I just want to clarify that, but because the concept of the independent publisher and developer getting broadcast mainstream attention is new. Your indie game did not really get to E3, or your indie game was stuck in some corner somewhere in a very, very small section because space at E3 is pricey. or you had to pray you could get a space on the open floor area, right? That was it for decades. So I am all for, and I am happy, even the people I don't necessarily trust or respect that I recognize from that indie showcase and just in E3 in general, I am all for, and I honestly genuinely respect that they're trying to fix that and change that. But where I'm annoyed at is that the placement for it seems wrong. Not that it shouldn't have been at E3, but where it was in the scheduling. It should have been in the beginning, or it should have come at the end of a day broadcast. That's how I look at it. Or it should have been divided up into sections across different companies' broadcast departments. Microsoft could have had talking to indie developers about hardships on minorities and shit. What can be changed and shit like that. And then, you know, maybe Sony broadcast. Oh wait, they didn't do shit. Maybe in IGN broadcasts, they go and talk about different issues relating to job and acquisitions. Because we all know it's been a big fucking problem where companies are purposely not going to places where there are people who are interested in getting a degree or creating scholarship programs or working in the industry unless they're at private school generic A, B, C, and D. Well, they're not the only fucking schools. In fact, it's well noted that minority heavy schools often do not even get recruiters visiting that relate to the game design industry. They'll get private schools that those game industries will come to an open show day of or a graduation day of, but they won't, and I stress this, they will not show up at like a community college. They will not show up at a historically African American or historically minority run or operated college. So it is important, but I think the scheduling should have been different. So yeah, I gave a better answer than James. I'm off the hook. So yeah, that's the only thing I think need to be fixed. Scheduling. Also, less host commentary. I know that sounds fucked up, like, oh man, these people need to shut up because they didn't say something I like. No, that's not my problem. The host needs to be used for 3 minutes or less before and after each segment. Or if they're conducting an interview, let them conduct the interview. But they don't need to go on, hey, here's my favorite game or the first game I ever fell in love with. Oh, it's Chrono Trigger. I like that. I think that's cool. Why the fuck is it here? This literally feels like filibuster during a live broadcast. No.
That's the thing. I'm noticing it in multiple communities, I guess we'll say. The host personalities, like those people are important to the overall culture, but we're like emphasizing it too much these days.
Yeah, like this Asian lady, she even talked about it as a minority and just as being a female gamer, how annoying it is when people find out she games, they talk down to her like she just, you know, woke up yesterday and started playing games yesterday and shit. And then she talked about her favorite one of games growing up was Earthworm Jim, which was hard for little kids back in the day, speaking from experience. And that the one of the first fell in love with was a Chrono Trigger, and she still got the limited edition in the box. That was cool. I like that. That warmed my heart. Why the fuck is it here? Go from segment to segment. Have them introduce a segment, talk about the segment, keep it under 3 minutes, move to the next segment. But that's just the technical director / editor and me talking. I know that they could have done that better. Or they could have left it for post E3 content.
But we need feels, and we need to relate to people because we're so like warm and fuzzy these days.
I know she was being sarcastic, but I felt like vomiting out of my balls at that statement because you know there's someone out there who believes that shit.
Not just someone, lots of people. The world is like way too mushy and everyone has to be kind and feely these days. Fuck it. Yeah,
there is an active amount of people who decided that no one should be trying to make someone or should be allowed to let someone feel negative emotions. But first and foremost, people can do that on an accident. And you shouldn't hold them to a standard of someone who like is trying to murder you or a bully from your childhood. Like if someone gives you bad advice, information, or news, and it wasn't on purpose, and you ask them to give it to you, how are they an asshole? But that's just me speaking from personal gripes. I'm pretty sure Officer can tell you there are times when people want honesty, and I don't put it in a cruel way, or just in general life, people want you to be honest, and you tell them, nah, you don't want that. And then when you give it to them, you're the asshole, or they try to say you're a bully for telling them the answer to a question. No one is a bully for telling you the answer to a question. Now, as far as worst game, or if I didn't see any, what do I want to see at E3? I'm gonna do both. Worst game I fucking saw. Man. The worst game I saw visually looked like the worst game I saw, because they purposely made it look like it came off a Nintendo 64. I want to show Neko this one day just so she can rag on it for like 5 or 10 minutes. Hey, James, see if you can find that game again. There's somebody who made a Max Payne inspired game, but they purposely made their graphics look like they came out of 1998.
Okay, I don't think that's inherently bad because, it hits a nostalgia trigger. So it's the worst game so it's the worst game you saw. Visually, it's the worst game, but it wasn't like actually the worst game though. Like, it could look bad but be a good game.
I mean, that goes without saying. But here's why it hurts for me. Because the gameplay looked like it was just Max Payne carbon copy from 1999 or 2000, which is when Max Payne came out. So literally, my problem with it is how it looked and how uncreative and uninspired it was. Now, don't get me wrong. As James mentioned, I get homages. I understand the concept of an homage. But if I make an homage and the homage looked like someone set it on fire, and then they still try to present it as a gift to somebody, how would you feel about that?
That's fair. There is a level of polish that's to be expected from and to look old.
Yeah, like, I understand highly stylized. Everyone remembers that game, Cuphead. That game looked like 1930s, 1940s Generation 1 colored cartoons. They went for that fact. No one had a problem with it. It was cool. I don't have a problem with it.
But it still looked polished. It didn't look like 50s, 60s cartoons had this like graininess to it. They kept the style while keeping it looking very clean.
No, they went back and put graininess in it.
It didn't look like grainy to me.
Oh, and that's more like a your eyes thing, but they even said it. But you see where the disconnect is for me. So I know, like, we've already established, this is not the place where we just go and make fun of everybody and be unnecessarily cruel, except for one person, but it's because it's funny when she does it. But the thing is that when it comes to indies, I put them on a different level. I know that sounds like I'm playing favorites, but that's not what I mean. I mean access to resources. If this dude was making this game himself, because I think that's what they said, the only issue I have is that why even present it at E3 in this state? Wait till next year. Patience is quality and a virtue. So I'm gonna be checking in on this game to see what the final resolution and shit looks like. Hell, he even paid for voice acting for the trailer. So I honestly don't understand why they had to make it be this low resolution / poly. Like, the hands all look like triangles. You had any luck finding it, James?
Yeah, I have.
Drop the link. But yeah, that's that. And as far as the what did I want to see? I told you, I wanted to see both new characters, even if it wasn't a trailer for Smash. I want to see them motherfuckers. Also, I can't figure out why Link's face, you couldn't see it in the Breath of the Wild 2 trailer. Was it secretly Zelda? Also, where the fuck was Zelda at? They kept saying that there's gonna be a duality with how you play the game and those two characters in it. Show us. The only thing we learned is that Link has an iPad built into his hand now, and it keeps his pimp hand strong. That's the only thing I learned.
It looked like Zelda fell off a cliff or something in the preview trailer.
I'm cool with that. Zelda dies, cool. Oh, I know I just made so many Nintendites mad. But anyways, other than that, another thing I wanted to see was proof positive trailers of new content from Nintendo. Yeah, that game. Of new content from Nintendo. I wanted to see new content just as proof that Nintendo is working on things for all of their franchises that people love but they don't respect. That's a very short list. We have Star Fox. We have Metroid. Technically, we did get some shit on that, so I'm not mad about it. F-Zero. Still nothing. But they'll put Captain Falcon in every Smash Bros. Game. And half the Smash Bros. Trailers. And I can't say Kirby because they're actually becoming consistent. They've been consistent with Kirby. It just wasn't always on a major console. I can't remember what the last one was. Star Fox, Metroid.
Advance Wars?
No. Everyone thought that was dead, but I'm glad they brought it back. There's another one. Oh yeah, no, there's another game I want to see. So there's a strategy action game that's supposed to feature the X-Men being made by Firaxis, the people who brought you XCOM. I want to see that shit, bruh. I want to see that. So yeah, that's it for me. Officer, you go next, and don't worry, we're still here listening, but me, James, and Neko got some shit to type to each other.
Alright then, I'm going to be pretty quick going through these. Let's see here. For topic 1, I agree with the what seems to be universal opinion among us that no, you don't need a winner. Just, have one. Let that be something people decide individually. Say, oh, I really liked this presenter. But to say they won E3 is honestly silly. Alright, so topic 2. Weirdest thing I saw was 2 things really. Apparently a remake or sort of a re-release of the first 2 Tony Hawk's Pro Skater games.
They're bringing those back?
Where the fuck did that come from?
Those games already been out. They're just putting them on the Switch for the first time. That shit been out for like 7 months.
Oh, still, it's hilarious.
Wow. Alright, so next weird, kind of a tie with that actually, is that, what was it, the announcement trailer for The Outer Worlds 2. Shit was fucking hilarious.
History I have ever seen. I also feel so damn dumb that I forgot to set my Discord microphone to my big studio microphone, but don't worry, the audio recording was correct. Neko, you're going to love the shit out of that trailer because it is so damn funny.
It's hilarious.
They literally shit on the whole concept of a CG trailer while they're doing the CG trailer. Oh my god, it was hilarious. It felt like I wrote it.
But yeah, it was a tie between those 2 things for weirdest game this E3. Honestly, was not aware that the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 was out for a while, but oh well. Alright, so topic 3. Well, from all the games I saw at E3, there's actually a decent list, though probably smaller than most people's lists. So, let's see here. Metal Slug Tactics, Metroid Dread, Ixion, Replaced, Salt and Sacrifice, Solstice, Songs of Conquest, War Tales, Shin Megami Tensei 5, and Breath of the Wild 2, basically. But we'll probably not be seeing Breath of the Wild 2 till, I would say probably late 2022. Alright, so... Did they?
Yes, it's going to be next year.
Yeah, I'm just thinking it's probably going to be late next year. All right, now, topic 4. Personally, I think they should focus more on the games rather than, people up on stage saying shit. Just, focus more on the video games, or like maybe people involved with said video games. Like you mentioned earlier, Neko was talking about Keanu Reeves. They brought him in for the Cyberpunk 2077 presentation, which, well, when the game came out, it was a buggy garbage mess, but well, at least they're fixing it. But the presentation was fine. Also, another thing I kind of like to see is like maybe more stuff like how Nintendo has that Nintendo Treehouse thing where they show off, the progress of a game and display it for the audience. I honestly kind of like it. Normally, I don't, they're watching people playing video games, but if it's someone playing a video game that isn't out yet, that's got a little bit more attention. All right, now topic 5. Oh, I'm gonna also go for the worst game and what game you want to see at E3. I wanted to see something about Final Fantasy 16, but I'll admit I went in fully knowing, I also wanted to maybe see something. Actually, no, I can't really think of other games that I particularly wanted to see there that I didn't, already, know about from other sources. Like, what's it? Total War Warhammer 3 coming to Steam. They've been releasing regular updates. The Creative Assembly and the Total War. It was Total War Access, but their blog has been releasing regular updates of the game, so I can just get the info from there. Now, as for the worst game, this one might sound a little bit weird, but that Stranger of Paradise, Final Fantasy Origin. Because that demo did not work on release. Man, they fucked that up. And that's why I'm putting it up as the worst. Though, you almost got me to change my mind with that next pain-looking thing. That looks, pardon the pun, painful. Alright, well, I think that's about it for me.
Woo. I love how we're all over here saying like some of the shit that E3 does. Like, so fucking stupid, but of course, like, they're still gonna do it.
Well, It's hard to tell. They're scared of basically becoming non-existent at this point, or being depowered because the internet and COVID happened, but also them fucking up. So I don't know. My whole problem with E3 initially was that there was almost no true feedback that got up to upper management, and we all heard, or at least I did, we talked about it a long time ago in a podcast, well before Neko got here, about how there was someone or some people in upper management who they felt they were untouchable and they was fucking shit up from behind the scenes. So realistically speaking, look, there was gonna need to be an overhaul of E3. Adaptation and evolution has to happen. I'm a firm believer in that. But the biggest issue, at least with this year's E3, was that it was organized. It didn't feel like it was rushed because the pandemic kicked their ass at the last minute. But it also feels like there was definitely room for improvement, but they're going in the right direction. Obviously, we'd love to physically be there, but you know, I like seeing a full ass attempt over a half ass attempt. I think that's everybody. Except Neko, because there's nothing back there. With that being said, that brings this episode to a close. I will see you guys when I see you guys.